fan theories. They can be fun and cultivate camaraderie around a speculative community. They can also be dumb and yet benign. You know, Ed, Edd, and Eddy takes place in purgatory. Well, that doesn't actually change the context of the show. Neither does any coma theory. Sometimes you hate fan theories so much that you write a whole film, The Last Jedi and kind of Beauty and the Beast a little bit, that is a reaction to speculative YouTube videos. Now, I too hate fan theories, but hating stuff is lame and makes you feel like an old fogey, and I don't want to be some wicked loser fogey. I want to be young and cool, or at least not full of hatred. So I thought maybe I would try to write some fan theories, and that could help me learn to appreciate them. So this is how that went. Theory number 1. Star Wars Episode 3, The Rethink of the Sith. Or Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hobby. Or how the Sith learned to stop being evil and love different interests. So here's my claim. 99.99% of Sith Lords use the dark side like absolute buffoons. A child could do better. The first line of the Sith code is, "Peace is a lie, there is only passion." It's the first message that they want to convey to you. And it's true for them. Every Sith we see is passionate about something. For Palpatine, it was political manipulation. For Darth Plagueis, he was an alchemy nerd. Darth Krayt was obsessed with immortality. Kylo Ren is an Imperial weeb. All that stuff is boring, though, and puts you in direct conflict with the Jedi or Jedi-adjacent organizations. Even Kylo Ren, he could have used the dark side to run a really cool Imperial fan club. Or become the galaxy's greatest dealer of Imperial antiquities. But instead, he fights a magic hologram of his uncle and gets his boots all covered in salt. I'm from the northeastern US. I know what salt does to your boots, Kylo. You could be using Sith magic to renovate a Star Destroyer to put in a museum for walkthroughs. You'd be making year-round tourist money. I'll tell you what I'd do with the dark side. I'd become a rad archivist. This is my catalog. I have taken a record of every video game I have played since 2016, every book I've read since 2018, and every comic book I've read since 2020. It's a whole goddamn binder. There's even graphs and stuff. I have lists of games and books I thought were especially above average or worth a look. A 3-page section called 5 Years of Star Wars, specifically highlighting the 10 video games, 11 books, 9 trade paperbacks, and 168 comics that I have read, played, or experienced in the Star Wars universe. So I'd have a cool space library or something. But you could do whatever. Become a dark side lumberjack. Become a dark side engineer. Go to clown college and become Sith Steve-O. Whatever you want. The Sith have been given a gift. They don't want to be stoic monks or jaded fogies. The Sith can be whatever they want, and they waste their potential that could be used to be the first Sith speedrunner on super weapons, fascist governments, and immortality. Now, let's talk about a group of fellas who never wasted their potential. Theory 2, the Banana Scare, aka the Minions Lost Weekend. In the intro to the Minions movie, we see several things. Minions were the first multicellular organism on the planet and went through several metamorphoses within their lifetime. We see that the Minions are trapped in a cave from 1812 to 1968, a clever way to avoid allowing the Minions to participate in World War II. Minions have a genetic predisposition towards evil, and I really hope we never get a movie unpacking that. I don't need Gru getting into eugenics. But there was a fear that they would serve under the Third Reich if they were around in the late 30s and early 40s. Now, I don't think that the Minions were secret Nazis or something. That would be absolutely batshit crazy. I think that the Minions helped Joseph Stalin consolidate power after the death of Vladimir Lenin, obviously. According to the implications of the film and the official Minions Cave fandom page, in 1912 the Minions got stranded in Russia after accidentally shooting Napoleon with a cannon. Then they were meant to live in a cave for over a century. But I don't buy it. In 1904, Joseph Stalin escaped a Siberian prison. Now, he had done this once before a few months prior, but chose to return to the prison because the cold Siberian night had left him frostbitten. Yet this time, he had no problems even though it was January. And who else was out in the Russian winter? The Minions. So they helped him get to a city where he could stay with friends for about a year before he started his revolt. Fast forward 20 years, right? Vlad Lenin has died. Several men sit atop the hierarchy eligible to take his place. None have plans to uphold what little vision Lenin had left, but Stalin needed an edge over his competition. So, he remembered the little yellow men who helped him stay alive long enough to become a free man. And in late 1924, he retrieved the Minions. And starting from 1924, the Minions were doing the bidding of Joseph Stalin. But then, after nearly a decade, the Minions do what they do best and mess it all up. I don't know how or why, but I do know for a fact that the Minions started the 1933 Russian famine, and it probably had to do with something about farting on crops, if I had to guess. So, Stalin sends them away and they go into hiding for 35 more years until the events of the Minions movie. Pretty good, huh? Theory 3. Can you tell me how to get high on Sesame Street? Now, people have made jokes about the trippy nature of early Sesame Street for decades, and it's not a secret that the creator Jim Henson did occasionally use drugs. But actually occasionally, like Henson would smoke weed on a semi-regular basis and tried psychedelics a few times, or maybe just once. I've seen conflicting reports. But Henson didn't do any vices very often, even alcohol. He just used substances to calm down and move on. But when it comes to the little felt monsters that he wrought, well, that's a different story. Now, there are plenty of characters I could jump on. I've been hearing the hot take that Cookie Monster is an addict for my entire life. That's too easy, though. I could focus on how Snuffy was a hallucination that Big Bird had, but then gained physical form. I personally don't know how much salvia you have to smoke for an imaginary mammoth to come to life, but Big Bird does. And we all know Zoe's been up for like 4 days, zooted out her dome so hard she thinks a rock is talking to her. And Mr. Noodle has been in a K-hole since 2008. But I'm not focusing on any of them. My eye is set to the functioning addict of Sesame Street, the junkie you'd never expect, the tweaker in the rough, Ernie. Yes, see, Ernie has an obsession that's little, yellow, and chubby, rub-a-dub-dubby. The rubber duckies aren't a drug that I'm aware of, I can hear you saying. Sure, but what if this is an allegory? Because who else sang the rubber ducky song? Little Richard.
Rubber ducky, you're the one. You make bath time lots of fun. Rubber ducky, I'm awfully fond of you.
A man that I love, but also a man who has used LSD, heroin, speed, and PCP, but more than anything loved cocaine. Spending $1,000 a day on cocaine. Little Richard once said they should have just called me Little Cocaine. Now you can tell me that I'm nuts on this one, but it makes perfect sense to me. Put Down the Ducky is a song about how Ernie can't play saxophone because his ducky, wink wink, is getting in the way.
Ernie, keep you cool, I'll teach you how to blow the sax. I think I dig your problem, it's rubber and it quacks. You'll never find the skill you seek till you pay your dues.
Or the famous You Wanna Buy an 8 sketch. It was right there in front of us the whole time. You might say, no, the joke is an eighth of weed, but I disagree, it's an 8 ball of cocaine. Our old pal Ernie has been hitting the ski slopes for sure. Ernie once walked in with fruit on his head and asked Bert, would you still like me if I had fruit on my head? Does that seem like sober behavior to you? Just look at the way Count talks about him.
Ah, yes, I'm here to annoy you!
Exactly. But anyway, was this whole video a joke? Did I write a bunch of BS theories that I absolutely don't believe? Was this some sort of postmodern, highly constructed prank on the concept of thought itself? I don't know. You ask too many questions, get out of my house. But I do know that I have gained a little bit of love and appreciation for fan theories in a way that I certainly did not have beforehand. So if you enjoyed this, give it a like and a subscribe, and I'll catch you guys soon.